What's up, everybody? It is another Mental Man Monday live stream with your boy, Izzy F. Baby. Coming back from homecoming week, it was a lot. PVs is this weekend, but Monday was a lot for me. So didn't do it on Monday. And I'm only by myself today. And because we didn't drop an episode last week, we have nothing to recap. So we're actually going to cover 3 topics today. So it's me alone. So as always, I won't be before you long because it's just me. But it's a few things I want to discuss today. And we're going to get into it. So just jumping right into it. Let's get into the first topic for the day. So, hold on, y'all. They got stuck. Hold on. Katt Williams is for Jesus. Now, people have already been calling him a prophet and things. So we're gonna watch a clip from him on the Sherri Shepherd Show, and he discusses his faith. And I'm gonna give my take on that. So let me share my screen and let's get to going.
Did you ever think that you would be like a meme that just symbolizes truth?
I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, so I want everything that comes along with that, even if it's not good. Like, this is kind of what I signed up for. So yeah. That particular interview was certainly a blessing that I was even able to be involved. But
did you ever think that you would be like a meme that just symbolizes truth?
All right, that was pretty quick and painless. But let's go into the first portions, which is what does this have to do with mental health? So for those that don't know, Katt Williams is one of my favorite comedians. People say I like controversial people, and they're probably right. But in that clip on the Sherri Shepherd Show, we were able to see Katt Williams express his faith openly. In a world where people have now renounced Christ, there's actually a podcast, and I won't say his name, that I was actually following. And I recently saw a clip of him speaking on African practices and saying, "Oh, y'all putting all y'all faith in this Jesus stuff, but your aunties and uncles and all them told y'all about these African practices and that are demonic, but people get caught up in what our ancestors did it, but whatever, right?" And I won't go down that route today. But what I will say is with that, I'm following him because you're not going to blatantly blaspheme the God I serve. People want to follow people because of politics and still be friends with people that make fun of their spirituality. But you'll cut off somebody over politics. I don't get that. And I'll never get it. But what I liked in this clip is when, we talk about what this have to do with mental health, he blatantly stood up for what he believed in. He, acknowledged that being openly a believer of Jesus Christ is going to get controversy. It's going to bring controversy. It's going to bring attack. It's going to bring good and bad. It's going to bring the eyes. Some people going to hate. Some people going to love it. It doesn't matter. But Katt Williams stood 10 toes, which that's not a surprise. What he always does. So we're used to that. We're used to seeing Katt Williams being like, yeah, this is what it is. What is it going to be? And we need more people like that for the people who may be Christians and may be scared to stand up. We just need to continue to see more bold and radical people, but people to see people stand up for what they believe in without worrying about what somebody will say. And him even understanding that, that video, that Shannon Sharpe interview has so many different breakdowns and, and how they said on the Shannon Sharpe that people said that Shannon Sharpe was publicly warned multiple times. And I said this on this live stream on the podcast before. When God wants to tell you something, He's gonna tell it to you personally several times. You don't listen. He's gonna send somebody several times. You don't listen. Then finally the exposure comes. But he was warned publicly. It was another one, but I know for sure about Katt Williams and Monique, and he ain't listen. So WWID, what would I do in this situation? In this situation, I guess we could just use it as an excuse to always bring God up and put God first. He could have easily just been like, I was speaking it real, I was just being myself. But for him to throw God in there when he didn't have to shows that he's always trying to go push it back to God. And I know it was which is going to be one of the topics we end up with, but he made a comment about, he gives to the poor a lot. and that is a biblical requirement. I don't know if I want to say requirement, but it is biblically acknowledged by God and benefits that come from it. But I think that sometimes people will say, well, I'm going to just give to the poor and not give to my local church because they need it more. And it's much deeper than that. And I'm going to get into a story when we get to that topic. But I think sometimes people misconstrue. And me, I'm the type, I do both. But again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So WWJD, what would Jesus do? It's obvious. Jesus gave credit to God at all times in all ways. So for him, that's again not saying he's Jesus, but what's the most ethically and morally correct thing to do? That's what it was. On a public platform that's seen by millions of people, throw up Jesus in there. You didn't have to do it. You could have said God. And the thing is, that people don't want to hear this. A lot of times when them people be saying God, they don't always mean Jesus. What should men do in this situation? Men should always be bold and radical about what they believe in. Always stand up for their faith. Last Mental Man Monday, I had my boy Amrock on, and he believes in God, but he really doesn't believe in the same things I believe in. And last week we covered NLE Chopper and Jonathan Majors on Den of Kings, and I gave my take to him about where I stand with Christ, and I was bold about it, and I was just saying, I don't want to have another Jonathan Majors NLE Chopper moment, which even both of us agree. We don't think that Jonathan was trying to be rude, and he was trying to be nasty. It came off. I could see it coming off that way, but we don't think he didn't think he meant it that way. But it's just sometimes you have to really give examples to people, and for him, I know that episode, and y'all can go watch it if you want, or listen to it however you want to do it. I don't really think I gave too many examples, but I do know for a fact that I stated and I restate, I was like, I don't have the luxury of questioning if God is real or the supernatural and all that. I've had too many supernatural experiences, one of which we will discuss today, where I could never say, I don't know. I don't have that luxury.